We have Bitcoin sitting at 82K, altcoins just consolidating, if not in a middle ground to grinding downward at this point in time. So you might be wondering ways to make money in this market. And right now there actually are plenty of opportunities for both current and future gain across multiple chains and ecosystems. So in this video, I'm going to go over ways that people are still making money in this market right now through both playing games and also isolating ecosystems for the future and stacking up points for future airdrop. So let's go ahead and jump into it in this video. There's going to be a bunch of actionable steps for you to both profit now and later. So let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. If you like the video, drop down, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel for more every day and every single week here on In the Game. We have you covered from gaming. We have RWA, meme coins, AI, and more right here on In the Game. So subscribe down below as well. A big shout out to our sponsors here on In the Game. We have Cradle Games, Medieval Empires, Fun Tico, Moon Tropica, as well as our newest sponsor on the channel. We have 𝗪𝗏𝗽𝗀𝗃. Now, obviously the AI agent niche has calmed down just a little bit, but we know AI is not going anywhere. And 𝗪𝗏𝗽𝗃 is redefining the wallet sector in AI agents. They are the premier multi-chain wallet for AI agents. And this is a pure revenue-based application. As we see here, use it, revenue, you share the revenue if you're staked, and that leads to growth to the platform. So everything you do on the 𝗪𝗏𝗽𝗃 wallet or platform feeds back into the ecosystem, USDC, pardon me, to Volt stakers, revenue for plugin devs, and better tools for users. I think that this project has a lot of potential in the future, and they're actually launching on Kraken on April 16th. So a lot to come for 𝗪𝗏𝗽𝗃. You can check out more and start using the platform down below in the description. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. So as we said, the market at this point in time is just kind of in turmoil and in limbo. We see Bitcoin here up 4% on the day, but on the 7-day down about 0.5%, up about 1% on the 30 days. So we're really just in this time period of a lot of nothing going on. If you're just holding coins, it's kind of been a rough month at this point in time. Some of the bright spots in the market, Avalanche we see is up over the monthly time period back to about $20, which by the way, obviously we are huge Avalanche bulls here on this channel. You can see the Avalanche pillow there right behind us. And over this month, this price action has been interesting. We got all the way down to almost $14 flat before we bounced here. So good to see Avalanche back at $19. Hyperliquid's bouncing quite nicely as well, up 30% on the weekly. We see stuff like Sonic still up 7% over the monthly as well. And if we keep scrolling down here, or actually scroll back up, we can see coins like, where is Mantra? Because I know Mantra has been holding very steady in this market. I actually don't see it here for some reason. So I'll pull that up in just a second. However, there are coins like Mantra, Hyperliquid, Avalanche that are doing quite well in this market. But for the most part, it's hard to find winners in this type of a climate. And right now, crypto gaming is struggling. AI is struggling. Most AI coins have lost 80 to 90%, pardon me, of their value over the last 30 days. So what should you be doing in this market right now that's going to provide dividends now and later? We're about to jump into it. But we see the economic climate that we're in, right? BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says that there will be much greater inflation in the US. And he also says that we are headed to, if not already in a recession. And we saw last time that this happened, we literally changed the technical definition of what a recession was to say that we avoided one. So yeah, I do think we have been in one, to be completely honest with you. We also see the Chinese president saying there are no winners in the tariff wars. Going against the world will only lead to self-isolation. So this whole thing going on with tariff wars and the trade wars, all this stuff, to me, it's really a zero-sum game. Like at the end of the day, there's going to have to be some resolution because we can't have tariffs on it. I'm in the US, so we can't have tariffs on every other country and they just stop doing business with us, right? So at the end of the day, I think there will be a resolution later this year. I would not be surprised to see tons of rate cuts, QE come to the table, as well as seeing a bullish Q3 and Q4 in the overall crypto markets. But right now, you need to be looking for opportunities, A, on good altcoins that have taken massive dips that you want to accumulate long term, but B, right now is the best time to be in the trenches. And when I say the trenches, is putting in time in ecosystems that have future token drops and also that have a ton of apps coming out in their ecosystem that you want to participate in and potentially make some money in. So first and foremost, we have Off the Grid. Obviously, their token launch, look, it could have been better, right? We all know that. I think that there's no sugarcoating this. They launched into a terrible market after all of this time. They choose to go into this climate where, things have been about as bearish as we've seen since FTX, to be completely honest with you, right? So this price action has been a little bit rough. If we see here, it came all the way down from 1 billion FDV, at one point down to 400 million FDV, currently sitting at about 500 million FDV. But at the end of the day, this is the premier gaming coin. I think there's no way around that. You look at the game, you look at the product, they have crossplay coming, mainnet coming, nodes are about to be activated. This ecosystem is about to actually hit the stage where it is active in the ecosystem with the blockchain behind it, which is, by the way, powered by Avalanche. This is why I love Avalanche so much. Avalanche has everything top to bottom: gaming, DeFi, RWA, meme coins, different applications to play around with. So you have the all-around chain, which is Avalanche, which powers the Off the Grid chain, which is going live soon. So bullish for me, both on Avalanche and Off the Grid. I think that if this market was in a different climate, you would have seen Guns launch and go nothing but up at that point in time. But because of where we are in the market, we saw depreciating price action. So for me, I would be looking at Guns at some point in time if you are a gaming bull. Like, we don't know what's going to happen with the markets in the short term, but I think if you are, in that range of 400 mil again, where we saw it a few days ago, I think that's a great buy zone if you are sidelined currently on the top game in all of crypto gaming. So number one, I do like Guns if we dip a little further from here. I think 400 mil is an absolute buy range, as the chart showed here, right? We got all the way down here to about $410 million FDV before we did show a bounce here, got back down to about 430, and now today sitting at about $500 million FDV. Next is, obviously, we had the prompt TGE. And I want to be frank on this one. I think this is a bit of a disappointment if we're just being honest here. If we go to the prompt token, this launched at about $200 million FDV. Right now, we see the FDV at about $326 million. This is currently trading on basically every major exchange. I believe Binance is listing this. We see it on OKX. Coinbase is listing this. So it's not a problem of where it's accessible or where it's tradable. I think that this airdrop was pretty disappointing. Obviously, on this channel, we had talked about all of the wallet tasks and the social quests, but also staking Prime for prompt. I think that that was a little bit of a disappointment. People who yapped, like on the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 platform or other mechanisms, got more of an airdrop currently than the people who locked up their tokens. So loyal bag holders got shafted on this, if we're just completely honest. So, I lost out a little bit on that, but also I did get a little bit of an airdrop for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 yaps because I qualified on the criteria of how many times I've talked about prompt and how many yaps I had, etc. But at the end of the day, the token's fine at 300 million. I think that that's a fair valuation. I would have expected higher, but I will say very disappointing for the fact that stakers of Prime didn't necessarily see the return that I think that they deserve, right? In your ecosystem, you want to reward your loyal bag holders at the end of the day, the people that are believing you, especially in this climate. So right now, Prime's down 20% on the weekly, literally almost down to $2.77, where we made our first buy on this over a year and a half ago at this point in time, which is just crazy to see. I don't know. I do think this will recover, just quite frankly. And people will continue to cash Prime to be able to take advantage of the next 70% of the releasable prompt supply that goes to Prime stakers. But short term, I think a little bit bearish on Prime before they come out with updates on their first-person shooter and on their AI game, Parallel Colony. So I would be looking at about $2.50 here. I think if it hits that range, it is an absolute killer buy whenever it comes to the Prime token. Otherwise, in gaming, I'd be looking at stuff like Superverse, Ronin, and Beam, but you guys know that already. So just to sum it up, I'd be looking for Prime to go a little bit lower after the prompt airdrop because people are selling and prompt is now going back up. There still will be stakers that come through that want to take advantage and get more of that prompt supply. So I'd be looking at Prime at 250. I'd be looking at a coin like Avalanche still under $20. I think AVAX is a steal. I'd be looking at guns at about 400 mil, a little lower than here. I think that's a great entry price based on the fact that it has bounced from 400 mil 2 times in a row here during this climate. And then Superverse, Ronin, and Beam. I think all of these projects, Ronin at 55 cents, that's dirt cheap whenever it comes to the top crypto gaming chain in the entire industry. We have Beam, which is up 11% on the month, actually showing quite a bit of strength here. I think at this price, if we take a look here, you guys know this because we've talked about it. This is the entry price whenever they bridged over from Merit Circle. So you're getting a huge discount on this that we haven't seen since October of 2023. And then Superverse under 50 cents, I think long-term is an amazing buy. So those are the specific gaming tokens that I'd be looking at in this market for the next leg up, because I think if Gunzilla has a run after mainnet, you're going to see the whole gaming sector do very well. But what about things you don't necessarily have to put a bunch of money into currently that could accrue you future rewards? Well, let's dive into really what's the number one thing going on in crypto Twitter this week. And unfortunately, I have been moving houses. I'm now in a new office, new studio, etc. So I didn't really get to capture this quite early enough. So TLDR, I would not be aping into what I'm about to talk about, but you need to be paying attention to this ecosystem because right now, some of the most profitable apps and emerging applications are coming out on the Abstract chain. It's picking up so much attention and liquidity right now. And there is a project out there called Bigcoin, like Bitcoin, but called Bigcoin. And this thing is a Ponzi game that is just absolutely ripping. It's at a $15 million market cap, which does seem very small. It's only on day 3 of the Ponzi. Usually Ponzi's last from 10 days to 21 days. Like, you don't really have a lot of time to take advantage of this. And I wouldn't consider this early anymore. Like, if you're aping in at 15 bucks, there's just way too many early incumbents that have an edge that are earning more and are going to be dumping more on the charts. But this presents so much opportunity on the Abstract chain for XP, okay? And this further proves Ponzi games, honestly, these are the best games in crypto. Like, it might be a hot take at this point, but time after time, during market dips especially, 𝗥𝗄𝗃 blew up during the May 2021 crash. We had 𝗥𝗄𝗃 in February of 2022, which blew up, which was a Ponzi. We had 𝗥𝗏𝗏 in April of 2022, Ponzi game, in a market dip, was doing absolute numbers because people could get ROI out of the ecosystem. And now, recently, we've seen on-chain heroes on Abstract, which, by the way, season 2 is about to begin, so you can start accruing rewards and also accruing Abstract XP, pardon me. Abstract XP is going to be the key to all of this. So while I would not advise aping into this currently, there are actually so many applications inside of Abstract to just take advantage of, from games to different casinos to trading to meme coins. You can see TCGs, test your skills in different games. So there's a lot you can do on the Abstract chain to be able to maximize your XP in the future. Make sure whenever you're playing these games or in these ecosystems, you're using the local Abstract XP wallet, because you need to be accruing all of that XP with your native Abstract wallet. But in general, there's just so much opportunity. This Bigcoin, I would expect it maybe to go for another week before we start to see some metrics and certain things that aren't really looking so sustainable long term. And this is showing right now that Abstract has some of the, they call it the consumer chain, but at the end of the day, it's providing us some of the most degen opportunities. And in this market right now, it's paying to be in the degen opportunities at this point in time. So for me, I'd be paying attention a ton to see what happens to Bigcoin over the next week, because a lot of people are going to shift liquidity into the next thing. And that's what really the edge is here. While I would say do not get into this right now, like $15 a coin, it's really expensive now to update your stuff. And really, like, if you didn't hit this under $7, I would consider this not early anymore. However, a lot of money in this ecosystem is going to pivot to the next Ponzi or into the next thing. And there's many applications on Abstract to take a look for. So I would just keep your eyes glued to see how long this lasts. And then from there, see where people are pivoting attention and liquidity from there. But most importantly, I think Abstract XP is going to pay off quite nicely. And I would be taking advantage of all these applications. Just place some trades on Abstract at the very least. If you want to ride up the coin, if you think big's going to go to 25, you could at least maybe put in a little bit and see, and if that plays out, you make some profits, but also you get Abstract XP for just taking part in the ecosystem. Obviously, when On-Chain Heroes comes back as well, I'm going to be diving deep in here. I have tons of NFTs in this ecosystem, and I'm ready for season 2 to kick off. And then other stuff that you can make money in this market. We have DeFi Dungeons, which is kind of like DeFi kingdoms of the Solana ecosystem. I've been playing around here. I'm trying to figure out the best way to maximize profits in this ecosystem. But right now, Bitcoin is really stealing the shine from these other applications. But this could also be where money flows, just in general in crypto. But I think that abstract native projects are the thing right now, just after what we're seeing with the Bitcoin. Really, I'm going to call it the big stuff going on with Bitcoin. We also have gaming projects like 𝗥𝗏𝗏𝗡 coming out with their fan apps, which are now migrated with AWS. This is massive. They have huge partners coming across with 4 years of runway and growing fan app revenue share. This is massively boosting their revenue potential, which is going to enable in-app purchases, new fan apps with their esports organizations that they work with, and they're going to have new features like the news feed. So this is awesome to see. And in general, I will say I'm spending most of my time, like I said, in these applications, like trying to accrue testnet stuff on Monad, just participating in that so I can qualify for a future airdrop, going through playing with these applications on Abstract, putting some volume through the trades and just trading NFTs, buying an NFT here and there, participating in streams, etc. I think all of this is going to accrue you a nice amount of XP for a future airdrop. And I think Abstract is picking up so much momentum at this point that you need to pay attention to that ecosystem. And then, like I said, there are 5 coins that I'd be looking at right now. Guns at 400 mil, a little lower than we are currently. Prime at $2.50, because that would be about the lowest since Parallel blew up a couple years ago. And then current prices on Super, Ronin, and Beam. I think those look absolutely phenomenal at this point in time. So it's paying to be in the trenches, but I think there are value DCAs out there. And to be completely honest with you, is the worst of this market over? No, I don't think so. However, I think that we have less downward activity to go than we have further upside, if that makes sense. I think the percentage gain you can have from here, from where altcoins are sitting, are exponentially higher than the downside potential that we have if we were to even sink lower. So that's where I see the risk reward paying off if you are willing to stick some liquidity into some of these altcoins that are at crazy low prices. And then of course, like I said, I'm participating in all of these ecosystems that could have future airdrops, and I think you should be too. Let me know what you're doing in this market, because obviously it's a boring market. Let's be real. We've been bouncing between 77 and 84 for quite some time. Bitcoin, if we look at the weekly and monthly charts, is minus 1% and plus 0.1% on the 30 days. Like, this market is ridiculously boring, so you need to be taking parts in these applications to maximize this time period. So let me know what you're doing in these markets as well. Are you in on Bitcoin? Are you supporting these Ponzi games? Let me know in the comment section. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. As always, play well, my friends, and please, we all need it during this time. Stay bullish, my friends.